The highlight of my recent trip to Las Vegas was the Pinball Hall of Fame. Now, this is a huge warehouse with more pinball machines than you could ever imagine, and this was my first time playing physical pinball machines. And I am obsessed now. I loved every second of it, and all of it was for charity too, which was awesome. And that's why I wanted to put together this list of my favorite pinball games on mobile. Don't forget to leave a like, pop a sub, and comment, and let's get right into it. First up, we have Williams Pinball. Now, Williams has the license to a lot of physical pinball machines, and a lot of these are classic ones as well, including the Indiana Jones pinball table, which I played personally at the Pinball Hall of Fame, and I loved every second of it, and I knew I had to get the digital version, and this is how you get that. And it's almost just as good. So if you've recently gotten into physical pinball machines, this would be a great avenue to try it out digitally, just as I have. Next up, we have Inks, which is a more artsy version of pinball, and you hit the pinball into paint, and you can paint the board. And once you paint enough of the board, then you can move to the next level. So there's a lot of different and simple pinball machines to play through, and this is just a really relaxing version of pinball. And if you want to try to get the high score or get the best medals possible, you can do that too. Next, we're mixing it up a bit with Bricky Boy. Now, Bricky Boy is a mixture between a pinball game and a brick breaker game, and it works surprisingly well, and it doesn't take itself seriously. There's a lot of wacky power-ups and a lot of wacky characters and kind of aesthetics that really remind you of those old handhelds that you could buy at Kmart back in the day. I don't know, there's some weird nostalgia associated with this one, and I really enjoyed it for what it was. Next, we have PINOUT, where the entire objective is to hit the pinball as high as possible, and you have to be very skillful and precise in order to do so, and you're racing against a clock, so you can pick up extra time pellets as you're going if you're skillful with your shots, like I mentioned previously, and it's just very addicting. If you want a game or a pinball game that you can play for 1 to 3 minutes at a time, this is your best bet, and it's highly addictive. Next, we have Star Wars Pinball. Now, I'm a huge fan of Star Wars, and you initially wouldn't put Star Wars and pinball together, but man, are there some great tables in here, and they're very cheap and go on sale very often too, and the fan service is immaculate. I can't believe how much they've packed into each and every table here. So if you're looking for more of a classic pinball experience with a lot of fan service and flair, check this out. Next, we have World Flipper, which may seem like a weird outlier on this list. It's a gacha hero collector with pinball mechanics thrown into the mix, and it works extremely well. This one took me by surprise. Now, the pinball mechanics themselves are much simpler and a little bit easier than other pinball games on this list, but with the added RPG elements that add depth and longevity, I really enjoyed my time with this one, and you might be surprised at how much you may enjoy it too. Now we have Zen Pinball. Now this is the same makers of Star Wars Pinball, except this is their all-in-one inclusive app with a lot of the games that they've created themselves, as well as their own original games without licenses. And their own original games tend to be my favorite tables, especially the one that you get for free, which is Sorcerer's Lair. It is one of my favorite pinball games I've experienced to date, and I highly suggest you download this just to try out that free table. Next, we have Infinity Pinball, which has a similar goal to PINOUT, where you try to ascend as high as possible in the pinball machine, except these pinball machines have certain sections, and you have to fulfill certain objectives to continue into the next section of the pinball machine. It has a really good retro feel overall to this game, and the physics of the pinball are actually pretty different from other pinball games on this list, which give it, yet again, a unique flavor. Next, we have the Pinball Wizard, which feels like a dungeon crawler mixed with a pinball game, and it works pretty well. The pinball mechanics are strictly there to send your wizard into enemies and attack enemies, while also collecting things on various stages and on the board. And it has a simplistic feel to it overall, but it is action-packed, and it's not as stressful as a regular pinball game in my opinion. It's just plain fun. Last but not least, we have Pinball Deluxe Reloaded, which I have suggested many times on this channel, and for good reason, because I consider this to be the best pinball game on mobile. Each and every table is unique, and it's not super over the top, but yet it's complex enough to keep you coming back for more, and it truly has the vibe of the space pinball machine back in the day on older Microsoft computers, which I still haven't had with any other game other than this one. I highly suggest this one. Alright guys, those were 10 of my favorite pinball games on mobile. Please leave a like, pop a sub, and comment down below some of your favorites because I know there are so many out there, and these are just some of the ones that I've enjoyed. I'm looking forward to your responses. I love you guys. I hope you guys are staying safe, and take it easy.